Another check of your forecast. Brittany, what can you tell us?
Well, the biggest impact that we have tomorrow, Tradisha, is damaging winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. That's actually going to be over here. So we have this cut out to show our local 22 counties. And you'll notice here we have a low risk for tomorrow for the mountains. You get down toward the southern part there, the mountains foothills. They're at a medium risk. We're at a high, if not extreme levels here locally in the Charlotte metro area, which is extremely rare. I talked about this a little bit yesterday. I've only seen about 1 or 2 high risks in the 5 years I've been here in the Charlotte area, but I've actually never seen our wind potential that high. And you'll notice these little hatch marks here that shows significant risk there for damaging wind. So anytime you add the hatch marks, that's essentially saying not only are we confident that we will see this action, so that strong damaging winds, we're confident that it could be high risk, which means 60 miles an hour sure is your base severe thunderstorm warning, but it could be up to 70, if not 80 miles an hour. Large hail possible. It isn't a medium risk, and again, not something that we typically see this time of year, but I really think the big one that people need to keep an extra eye on, other than damaging winds, is actually our risk for tornadoes. So notice across all of our local counties, we have that risk for tornadoes. Same thing with the hatch marks. That is showing significant impacts, meaning long track tornadoes would be possible. The reason why our tornado risk is so high compared to normal here in the Charlotte area is that we normally don't see as much wind shear. That's winds changing with direction and height as you get into the upper levels of the atmosphere. The more spin you have, the more likely you are to see those tornadoes. And again, we don't get setups like this very often. So I do want to remind you that 3 ways to get warnings is the best thing to do before you're going to bed tonight. The wireless emergency alerts that come into your phone automatically, make sure they're turned on. A weather app like WCNC Charlotte, watching TV, sure. If you do choose to monitor via a stream, so again, not traditional cable, please remember there is a delay. Social media, as long as it's real time, NOAA weather radio, and of course your network, friends, family members, local, next door neighbors, things of that nature. Now there is some action already happening on Doppler radar. In fact, we had some rain for areas north, especially of Charlotte, a little bit earlier today. But I do want to draw your attention to that's the warm front. That, of course, bringing that low wind risk for a few strong storms tonight. But look at what we're still tracking off to our west. This is the cold front that approaches us tomorrow. And if you look here, all of these little boxes that you see shaded in pink, those are all tornado warnings. All of these yellow boxes are severe thunderstorm warnings, and there have been a couple of orange boxes, which is essentially a severe thunderstorm warning that is higher than base, so considerable or destructive. The reason why I'm showing you this is that when we track severe weather, we normally look at obviously not only model data and our meteorological experience and knowledge, but we also look at how it progresses in other parts of the country, and it typically can tell us about what it's going to do when it gets closer to us. So when you see this widespread risk, that's telling you that you have a higher than normal chance of seeing this severe thunderstorm activity. So again, closer to home, areas north of Charlotte seeing some light rain a few hours ago. Still tracking 2 small cells here. This one moving just west of Pageland, closer to Tradesville, and it's heading into southern parts of Monroe. Pea-sized hail, winds around 40 miles an hour being reported within that one. And then this one just pushing through Great Falls, about 30 to 35 mile per hour winds. Not seeing a lot of support for hail, but again, this is just barely the appetizer as the main event rolls in tomorrow. Here's 11 o'clock. A few strong storms will be possible, and I'm watching for some of those kidney bean shapes, which does indicate the potential for supercells overnight, which this is something you don't see very often. 4 a.m. 5 a.m. already seeing a few of those extra risks there for severe storms. Notice especially down in Chester, Lancaster County on the western side of the area. This is essentially the second wave if wave number 1 is happening tonight. Okay, so this is 5 a.m. on Monday. Notice what happens as we get closer to 8. Multiple additional rounds of those storms ahead of the main line. The line starting to move into the mountains right around 9, 10 a.m. Look at how much we see this gusty wind activity bowing out. See these little segments that kind of look like those comma shapes. Now they're a little bit bigger than your traditional comma-sized supercell. That's more kidney bean. But when you see this bowing out, that is telling you that there is likely going to be significant impacts from winds. Unfortunately, this coming through right around lunchtime where many people will be out and about on their break. If you don't have to travel tomorrow, I would advise not to do so. Pushing east of our area as we get closer to the afternoon, but something we don't typically see with these storms. Notice the front at this point, 5 p.m. is over in Raleigh, but we're actually still going to see a few more rounds of storms before it's all out of here by Monday evening. So there could be 3 distinct waves, really, if not 4 distinct waves with the system. So again, it's a very rare opportunity for us to see a high risk for severe weather. So please make sure you're staying weather impact aware, knowing your neighbors, your friends, family are aware of this risk. Again, plenty of shear, plenty of storm fuel, and the trigger is that very strong cold front that's coming in tomorrow. Here's that Jerry Hutton Supercenter 7-day forecast. After tomorrow, the rest of the week looks pretty nice. We start off Tuesday with temps near freezing, only getting into the 40s in the afternoon, so certainly a colder day on Patrick's Day. And then Wednesday, we're going to be a little bit warm in the afternoon, getting us back to near 80 degrees by next weekend.